twice. I saw the Blazers play, saw the Ducks play down there. Being a Coug fan, I don't really like to admit to that, but got to come down there and watch some games this year. What's it like growing up down there, and what do you like so much about where you're at and where you live?
Yeah, I got a lot of family down here, so that's really important to me. And I grew up with a lot of my friends here, so a lot of people transfer out of high school, and I don't really want to. I like staying with my friends, and I just kind of like the area around here. But I'm excited for the change up in Pullman.
Right on. How was your trip and your visit up here? Obviously, I want to get into quite a bit of that, but I mean, what was your initial thoughts when you came up here to Pullman compared to where you live?
I thought it was like a really cool town. Like I really like the environment here, and I like the campus a lot. And like when I went to the game, it was a really cool stadium, and like the atmosphere was really cool. I was really excited to be there, and I was like, dang, I just want to play.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
I really like the campus, and the facilities are really nice, so I really enjoyed up there.
That's awesome. So obviously, you being down there, you got to see, obviously, I would assume, and go to quite a few Ducks games down there. Kind of area-wise, I have my own opinion of what I think of Autzen compared to Martin. But I mean, you being able to go to both and attend games, what was the major differences from like Autzen in your or your home state compared to Pullman that really drew you to Martin?
I just think it was like a really good family area. I think a lot of people like it there, and like a lot of people like really care about the sport. I just think like Eugene, it's cool, but I just think it has a different kind of feel when you go to that stadium. So I really like it there, and so.
Well, and you're right, too. I mean, you got a highway drive coming from Eugene when you get into that town. I didn't realize how big Eugene was, and then you get into Pullman. I just left Pullman last night. I was up there last evening for that bowling event. I don't know if you knew anything about that, but I was up there for that. Got to meet a bunch of the guys up there as well as the coach, and just every time I go back up there, I remember why I love Pullman so much.
Yeah.
So, you went to Westview High School. You had offers from Portland State and Washington State. Are there any others that I'm missing? Was it just Portland State and Wazzu?
I got Idaho.
You had Idaho too.
I got yeah.
So between those three schools, did you visit all three of the campuses, or did you only come up and visit Washington State?
I've seen like Portland State, but I never really officially got one. But I visited Idaho a couple times, and then of course I visited at Washington State.
What was so then between Idaho then and Washington? What was the main difference, at least for you, to come to Washington State compared to going to Moscow? Granted, 10-15 minute drive tops, but I mean,
Yeah.
what was the difference at least that you saw from Moscow to Pullman?
Yeah, I think it was just like a bigger school, and I like bigger schools, and then I feel like my potential at Washington State could be a lot higher than at Idaho. So like with like the coaches that we're bringing in now, I feel like I like the strength staff and like the eating. I just feel like I have a better opportunity to be a lot bigger and stronger. So
Right
that's
on.
a, that's a main reason.
You seem like one that just goes to work, especially with your 7-on-7, and I want to get into a ton of that too, but I mean, I understand what you're saying and gets me excited as a fan. Excited for you. Um, Looked like your main communications when you were getting recruited up here at Washington State was with Coach Nick Whitworth. Am I correct?
Yeah.
What is it like now knowing, and I know that there's a lot of uncertainty now with you coming up to Pullman compared to what you thought you were coming up here group-wise. How much of a role did Coach Whitworth play in your commitment up here, and then what is it like losing somebody like that you were kind of excited to play for?
Yeah, it's tough. I started we started talking a lot more. We've been talking for about a year, so that connection started to grow a little bit stronger. So I was pretty upset when he left, but at the same time, when I saw my new coach coming in, I talked to Coach Myers a little bit, so he seems to really like the tight end group, and I feel like we could be really good there. And then also I just feel like it's really cool that knowing that we have tight ends that are going to play a lot this year. I think that's really cool because I know that Nick Whitworth was going to start bringing in the tight ends and using them more, but now using them a lot more is pretty cool. But overall, I think Nick did a great job, and I think he's gonna do really well at this point or which point.
So speaking to at least of the offensive scheme with Coach Freehand, did you pay much attention to SDSU ball this year?
I was watching some film earlier today, like a few weeks ago. But yeah, I like the way they use the tight ends. I feel like that's the kind of offense that I can be, and I can go on the ground, I can go out, but so I can do whatever. So I really like it. I can block, so it should be really fun.
That's perfect. And then that gets me excited too, knowing that that's a scheme that you're going to be comfortable in. And I'm really excited because I've always been big on when I played ball, I played on the offensive line. So when you get physical tight ends involved, I know it's great as an O lineman's perspective of it, of like, hey, I've got somebody great on the other side helping to tackle wherever he's going. So that gets me excited for you, especially. And then seeing your tape, knowing as a tight end that you led the team in touchdowns and receiving yards, that you can go out and catch the ball and do your end on the receiving end. That's incredibly exciting.
Yeah.
So you finished your school year for the most part. I know you still got some time left, but 3.7 GPA, is that pretty much what your average was throughout all of high school?
Yeah, pretty much. I think I had like a 4.0 freshman year, but other than that, it's been pretty good. I've always been really focused on school, and I haven't really had many bad distractions or gone with the wrong people. So I've been pretty dialed in.
That's awesome to hear, because not only that, I mean, your education is so important. So knowing that you're taking not only your education serious, but the potential to be big in a football program too, very serious. That's exciting for me. I was paying attention to a lot of the stuff on Alpha's Instagram page and stuff the last couple days, and I really like the draw and the commitment that they tell you guys coming in and what they say. So it looks like you had a great foundation starting off down there, at least on your 7-on-7 end. Did you play for them pretty much your entirety of playing football, or when did you really start playing for Alpha, and how long have you been with them?
Yeah, so I actually joined going into my senior season, so that was my first year. I kind of heard of 7-on, but I really started getting serious with football my sophomore, junior year. So taking that next step with Alpha, it really it helped my game a ton. So I wouldn't be here without them and Coach DY and Aoife and all those guys. So
that's awesome. What an opportunity it is down there. I didn't really see very many 7-on-7 leagues until I did a lot of research on you and then David, the cornerback recruit from Kamayakin. Obviously, he played for Team Lillard. Is 7-on-7 pretty big down there in Oregon?
Yeah, I think it's starting to get a lot bigger. I think a lot of people succeed pretty well with it. So I think it helped me a lot just reading the defense and knowing where I am, and then just running the routes and seeing the competition of other tight ends and knowing, okay, I can go compete with those guys who are bigger and but I think it was overall a good competition and helped me a lot. So.
I don't know, man. You being 6'6", 210 as a tight end, that's pretty big, man. I don't think you're gonna have much problems going up and getting physical.
Yeah.
So your season stats were stellar for a tight end. I was excited just paying attention. You had 42 catches for 500, 4 touchdowns, 11.9 yards a catch. How confident are you then when you get a pass play coming your way, knowing that you're going to catch it almost, and your numbers show it, consistently for a first down? Is that kind of what you're looking for when the ball comes your way? And do you think that you're going to be able to replicate that success on consistent, 11 yards per catch once you get in here at Washington State under this new scheme?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, I want to knock down the first contact. I want to keep going up and just find a way to get to the next marker or the touchdown of the end zone. So.
Well, and you can see.
Keep doing that. Yeah.
You can see here on my shoulder. I mean, it doesn't look like you're shy away from taking contact.
Yeah, I love contact. It's really fun. I kind of almost carry it too much into basketball. I'm kind of a bully down the paint stuff, but.
You playing a lot of power forward center then, or kind of where are you playing then?
Yeah, a lot of power forward center. So.
Right on. You were the number 13 overall prospect in Oregon. I saw the names kind of all the way around you guys. All you guys went to top schools, and I understand too. You've got one more that's joining you from the state with Cash Landau. I probably shanked that name, but What is the relationship with Cash, if there is any? And then what is it like knowing that you're coming into a tight end room with someone that's from the same area as you?
Yeah, I think it's actually really cool. We went to a few camps together this summer, and I think we're like our chemistry is starting to get really good. I've heard a lot of people say that we complement each other well, so we can kind of play both positions, just spread out the offense, and I think we're going to be becoming really good friends. So I'm really excited for that.
I would be too. I mean, I had a great conversation last night, like I was telling you a little bit before. I was up in Pullman, and I had a ton of conversations up there with Javon Clark and his family up there. Meeting some of the coaches and seeing him kind of mingle with a lot of the guys that recruited him from Wyoming, as well as a lot of the guys that are coming in from the same kind of area as Chicago. I know that it's something that he's super excited for, so that was a question that kind of spurred my interest because I never really thought about what it would be like being somebody of your age getting ready to go away from home and create a new family. So I really wanted to ask that question. What has the relationship with Cash been like up to this point? And then have you guys had any points or any games where you guys have gotten to compete against each other?
Yeah, I think like in the summer we did like a 7-on together, and then we did like an Idaho camp. So we were paired together a lot. So we did a lot of physical blocking and catching stuff. So I think we're going to become really good friends, and I think that's like something that it's really cool that I got a person from Oregon that I know pretty well that's going to go to the same school as me. So I'm not just going to go alone. So cool.
Yeah, and I like I said, I couldn't imagine what that's like. So it's awesome knowing that you got a person like that coming from the same neck of the woods with you up here. Speaking of which, so let's kind of get into Westview's season this year. It kind of looked like it was up and down for the most part this year. Looks like the last couple of years have been up and down. I kind of want to start off with your sophomore year, 8-5 season that you guys had your sophomore year. Is that kind of where you first got the opportunity to shine down there at Westview?
Yeah. So I was still pretty skinny. So like I got a few minutes on bar, but I was still like kind of on JV, just kind of like getting more confidence as I play. But I think like that's just kind of where I started to like really fall in love with football, and like the coaches kind of saw like me improving as the years go on. So and then I've had 3 different head coaches in my high school career, so I've had to learn a lot of offenses, learn a lot of defenses. So I mean, it's changed a lot, but I think overall, like these last like coaches that I've had have like really helped me a lot. My head coach played at Oregon, was like all Pac-12, and then my OC played at Portland State. So he helped me, like get in the offense and help me like succeed to get all those catches and help me block for the running backs. So.
Okay, this is a question I wasn't going to ask you because it didn't really cross my mind until now. So, with you having 3 different head coaches in your high school career, how much of an initial shock was it then for you with Coach Dickert taking off to Wake Forest? And is it something that you're nervous about, I guess, in your collegiate career to have those changes, or is it something that you're going to be able to embrace?
I think it's something that I'll be able to embrace. I've dealt with it before, so I'm kind of like almost like kind of getting used to it. I mean, with the transfer portal too. I mean, kind of anything can happen. So.
Well, and if
I think
go, yeah, if you got a thought to finish, you're more than welcome.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've just kind of adapted to it. So.
And that's kind of what's hard too, because kind of an outsider fan perspective looking in. If the coaches are so able to freely move and take off that the way they are and go to these other programs, I totally understand why as a player you should be able to hit that portal and roll with it. I totally understand that aspect of it.
Yeah.
So you led the team on average, and it was in receiving, and it wasn't really close. You led by 29 yards more than the next closest guy on that average. Was it one of those where you were drawn up as the receiving threat throughout the season this year, or was it one of those right place, right time, you're taking the ball and you're rolling?
No, yeah, I was pretty much the guy that you want to throw it to a lot. So I'd want to make the big play. I'd want to go do the winning drive. So I think the coaches believed in me, and that's why I have a lot of those good stats. So.
As we take off kind of talking about that too. Does that get you nervous at all throughout your year, where it's like, hey, we got to throw the ball to Peyton and we got to make sure that he takes it the distance, or we got to make sure we get a first down off of Peyton? Do you embrace that bit of oh man, I'm trying to think of the right word here. Do you embrace that maybe nervousness or the ability to know that you're going to be the one that has to go out and make that? I guess in better terms, do you feel clutch, or are you going to be nervous in those situations? Or again, I would assume that that's probably a position that you embrace to be in.
Yeah, I embrace it. It's the game-winning drive, and that's what every kid dreams of. So I love being part of that. And if we have to run the ball 10 times, then go out for a pass play, I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah.
Whatever wins us the game, that's the most important part to me, just winning the game. So.
Looks like, not to get too much into it, but your junior year was kind of a rougher one, it looked like, over there. Obviously, having the experience, I've gotten to interview a lot of guys the last few weeks that, they didn't really have that. What is it like going from the lowest of lows to the highest of highs playing in that high school atmosphere?
Yeah, I was playing a lot more like wide out, I'd say, my junior year, so I wasn't like getting like the ball as much as just a wide out. But I also like didn't. I just felt like I didn't like really believe in myself until like I really like, because like my junior year I was kind of like can I do this, can I not, and then I really took that off season serious. Like it was like I did alpha, I gained a bunch of weight, I was like probably like 225, and that's where I kind of just like took off. I didn't really care what anyone else said about me, or what other people were doing. I was like, all right, I'm the best, all right, and I put in the work, so it like one season has really just changed my life for me. So it's just a matter of the work that I've put in. So.
That's awesome. As we get rolling a little bit more, you were third on the team in total touchdowns. You were also third on the team in sacks. You led the team in receiving touchdowns, like I said, and then you led the team also in forced fumbles. Going from that playing two ways, offense, defense, as you did this year, did that build up your conditioning for it? And is that something that you're looking to do when you come up here? Or are you hoping that you're just tight end only, you're only coming up here to play tight end?
Yeah, like the main goal is just to play tight end, but it's wherever the coaches feel best where I can be my best. So if they want me to play defensive end, I'll play defensive end. I feel like I'm pretty good. I got some good moves there, and the stats don't really lie. I had 2 forced fumbles and 6 or 7 sacks, so I felt like I was they didn't really run the ball to my side much because I would just kind of stop at tackle. So
when you were first team defensive end this year, huge accomplishment, especially when you're coming up here to play tight end. Being a first team defensive end is no slouch. Obviously, you have that physicality, so that's where I was really curious on that aspect of it, because watching some of the tape that I saw on you, really, I don't see how anyone could stop you, whether you're going out to catch a pass or you're coming to blow up a play. I don't see very many ways that people are going to be able to stop you no matter what end of the field you're on. And that's something I really enjoyed about your film, because no matter where you're at, it looks like you're going to dominate hell or high water.
Yeah.
You guys were a 6A school down there in Oregon, from what I understand, right? Is that the highest kind of average out there for schools?
Yeah, it's 6A, yeah.
What league were you kind of in this year, and then who's your rival down there in that program?
So I'm in the Metro League, and then our Sunset is, our rival Sunset. So.
And you guys, I'm pretty sure you guys beat them this year, didn't you?
We had a 21-point comeback in the fourth quarter, so it was pretty crazy, but it was a really good win to seal my senior year, so it was really cool.
I would assume that was probably your favorite moment of the season, coming back from that.
Yeah, because we just kind of everything kind of went right for us. We scored, we got 2 onside kicks, we got some stops, and we scored again. So and then it went into OT, and we won the game with a stop on defense. So it was really cool.
Oh, that's how you, not necessarily how you draw it up, but that's how the movies draw it up. And man, that's suspenseful.
Yeah.
So yeah, in that game against Sunset, you had 113 yards. What went right for you on the receiving end of that game?
I think it started off with the first play. I mean, I caught a ball at the 10-yard out, and I was like, all right. Like, I got up, and I was like, all right. It kind of like put some fire in me. I was like ready to go the whole game. So never felt like giving up. Even when we were down, I was like, oh, we can still beat this team. It's just a matter of how much we want it. So
that's cool. So then also let's talk about your guys' blowout win, 46-7 over Southridge. You got involved. You had 62 yards and a touchdown, and then defensively you were all over the place. Why was that game so lopsided in your guys' favor?
I just think that we were just really locked in that week. And then I also had Ben Arbuckle, who was the previous OC, so I really wanted to go out there and prove something of why it could be a Cougar. So.
Oh, he came down there to watch you guys play that game?
Yeah, he came down and watched me that game.
That's awesome. So. Let's talk a little bit then about your relationship with Coach Arbuckle. Obviously, him and John go down to Oklahoma, rooting for those guys big time, especially for what Ben did for us the last few years, and then obviously John for the season that he had. But what about Coach Arbuckle was a draw for you then? And then what are you going to kind of miss about him leaving for his offensive schemes that you would have liked to have been a part of?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to miss him a lot. I mean, I think he really cared about me. I mean, nobody really pulls up to my games. I mean, he did, and he really cared. So I thought that was really cool. And I'm just going to miss the little aspects of, like, using their tight ends. So, but I think I'm really confident of, where he is and where I'm going to be. So I'm really excited.
That's awesome. Okay, so run me through your guys' Alpha Elite season this year. And then what was it like? Obviously, we had that brief conversation about them growing you as an individual as well as football. But take me through the highlights and really the best of what it was for you this season with Alpha.
Yeah, so we would go on some trips, and we would I think we were I think in the California we won a championship there, I think. But yeah, I saw a lot of tight ends there. I think there was some that were committed, like Washington and I think a few other schools. But when I played against them, I knew I was like, okay, like really, you're committed there? I kind of had that chip on my shoulder. Still something to prove. Being more physical and just trying to catch everything and not slowing up. So.
That's awesome. So then, talking about tight ends, two guys that Coach Rogers and I actually had a conversation about last night that he came out with, Dallas Goedert, Tucker Kraft. Two guys from SDSU that have become, in my opinion, staples in the NFL. Knowing what he's produced from your position alone, not to say that you're going to look forward, but obviously the end goal, I would assume, is to play in the pros. What does that do for your confidence of like, hey, they're producing Dallas Goedert, they're producing Tucker Kraft. What does that do for you, and how excited does that get you to come up here and play under this SDSU program now, Washington State?
It gets me really excited because I'm still new to football. This is going to be my 5th year playing football, so I'm just really excited. I feel like I have a whole bunch to learn, but I feel like I've improved so much in one offseason. I feel like I can just keep stacking that, And I'm really excited for what I have to give to Washington State. I'm gonna give it my all, and I'm really excited what they can turn me into. I hope they turn me into a monster, because I want it bad. So I'm excited.
You have the tape to be an absolute monster. Obviously, with the chip on your shoulder, the couple offers you had coming out, I really think that, Oregon State down there, Oregon, UW should have been paying attention more to your tape alone. So I feel like you, as well as Cash, complete steals coming up here from Oregon, and I love the opportunity that I think you guys are going to get up here. Talking more about that, have you gotten to have very many conversations with the new OC?
No, not yet.
So you guys had your freshman Zoom. I know that you got to have a good conversation with Coach Rogers during that Zoom. I don't really want to know any of the information on that, but what were your main takeaways when you had that freshman Zoom where you're like, awesome, we're going in a good direction?
Yeah, I mean that was kind of the reaction. My parents are both on it with me, so we kind of called right after, and we're like, okay, yeah, I like him a lot. So yeah, I'm just really excited for what he has to give to Washington State. So
That's exciting. That's very exciting. What was your guys' biggest accomplishment, or yours, either team or yourself? I'd love to hear both if you have one for both. But what was the biggest accomplishment this season with Alpha Elite?
Alpha Elite. I think just like overcoming like let me think. I think just becoming like a better player in like the small stuff. So like just becoming a better player in practice, and not just like on the field, but like also like working on like those Saturday mornings, and like doing like the little stuff that nobody else does. So like working on my breaks, or working on my house, and working on my catching. So like those are the stuff that like I'm proud of, just to know like all that stuff, all that little stuff just works up to the big stuff. So like that's what I'm really proud of. And then I'm really proud of like how our team fought like all year. We had like a bunch of really good players, Joe Stimson and our QB Baird. So a lot of those guys I'm really proud of, and I feel like it was a young team, so I feel like they would still have like a lot to give on Alpha.
Oh, right on. So were you one of the older ones then coming in with Alpha?
Yeah, my QB and I were both older.
So is your QB graduating this year too?
Yeah.
Is he going off to play ball?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
So then with basketball being your sport that you're getting ready to, or pardon me, that you're playing so far this winter, was basketball your first love before football?
Yeah, I have a basketball family. So my family is like really tall. My dad is an older brother and a younger brother, and the younger one's 6'10", and he played at Cal State, and the other one's 6'8". So a lot of them really tall family. My dad is like 6'5", 6'6", so and I was around 6'6". So. And then my cousins are actually, I think they're about 6'10" and 6'8". They're like a year or 2 years younger than me. So
See, I'm the tallest one in my family by a long shot, dude, and I'm only 6'1". So hearing that is like, holy cow, that's insane.
Yeah.
I've been following a lot and paying attention to those who support me, obviously, on my little Instagram journey that I've got going on. I'm only a month in, and it has been absolutely wild. But I'm pretty sure, and I want to ask, your dad is Ken Reed, correct?
Yeah.
Tell your dad I love all the support I get from him, because he is the first name that I see on pretty much everything that I have to do on my deal. So give your dad some kudos, and very cool. Westview High School, obviously, like we were talking about with some of the kind of slower, well, not slower, with Westview High School, kind of the up and down season that you guys had the last 2 years. Are you the only one that's getting ready to go off and play collegiately out of Westview?
Yeah, I think so. I think there might be like some like lower guys, but at D1 level, it's just me.
Do you think in the next few years, from kind of the underclassmen that you got to play with, that there's an opportunity for any of those other guys to go up and play?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think I've given some guys some confidence. You know, I'm not. You know, I don't really have like a big ego, so I'm kind of friendly to everyone. I know some people are just kind of like dicks if they got some school that's interested. But I've always been nice to the freshmen, and just always been trying to like see myself in their shoes. So I've always been kind of kind.
And I'm a firm believer that, and I'm sure your parents have, and it sounds like they have instilled this in you, but man, I'm a firm believer. Treat everyone the way you want to be treated. And unfortunately, that's kind of the roles of high school, getting to deal with people like that. But I think you're going to be able to have the last laugh here come 4 or 5 years. So I'm really excited to watch you. So let's get talking about kind of your early life. Obviously, being down there in a basketball family like you and I are talking, what was your favorite basketball team growing up down there?
Probably just the Trailblazers. You know, classic. But yeah, it's them. I mean, they've kind of been struggling, but you know, I've gone a few games, so they're always fun to play.
Well, Henderson, and Simmons, those guys who've been lighting it up this year. At least they've been the bright spot.
Yeah.
I got to watch the first game of the year. I watched them go down there. I went down there, like I was telling you, and I watched the Pelicans game. And not only was I so upset with how close of a game that was, rooting for the Blazers down there. I don't know if you ever got to see any of the highlights from that game, but that was the first time I ever saw anyone win a car from a half-court shot. And I was told down there that happens quite a bit, that they do the half-court shot for a Toyota. And
I don't think I've ever seen that.
no kidding. If you look it up on ESPN, it was first game of the season. I'm trying to remember. I want to say I went down there in October. I have never heard a stadium so loud. And granted, growing up here, I went to a ton of Seahawks games. Seahawks games are stupid loud. But I have never heard a stadium that loud than the Moda Center when that guy hit the half-court shot. Kind of the atmosphere that you got to grow up down there then, was it pretty easy for you to fall in love with the Blazers and be a part of that?
Yeah, it was pretty easy.
I'm going to make the assumption, too, as a kid, probably if you watch college football, you were a Ducks fan or anything that had to do with college down there is Oregon.
My dad went to Oregon.
All right on. So is this kind of a, not to say too much about Oregon, but kind of like a full circle deal of, because I know they didn't like us for a long time, and I know that we didn't like them. Now I was really rooting for them in the college football playoff. I really like Dylan Gabriel and those guys over there. But what was it like kind of rooting on that program and now knowing that a team that was the thorn in their sides for 4 or 5 years, the last 10 years, you get to go play for them? What does that mean to you?
I mean, it's such a cool opportunity. You know, I mean, it's something that I'm not gonna take for granted because a lot of people don't get this opportunity. So I think it's just really cool for me, and I'm really excited. You know, and it's a place where I want to be. You know, I don't really want to be anywhere else except for here. You know, it feels like home. So I'm really excited.
Not too far of a drive either for you. At least you get to drive on the river no matter what direction you're going. You're watching it the whole way. So. How's your basketball season rolling right now? And then what is your kind of predictions and your thoughts that you think you guys are going to be sitting for your basketball season your senior year?
Yeah, we've had a really good year so far. We just played at the LSI and we went 2-2, and I think we got a lot of potential. I've been playing with these guys since 5th or 6th grade, so our chemistry is really good, and we just got a transfer from Liberty. He's doing really good. But I think we're going to make it really far into the playoffs, and I think we have a really good chance of winning just with our chemistry and our shooting and just being a more physical and dominant team. So
I got to talk to Turner Bertrand yesterday about his basketball season, and the one thing that he brought up about his basketball season was most of those guys played together in AAU ball up there in Nebraska. Is that kind of the same deal that you guys have chemistry-wise with your basketball program?
Yeah. A lot of those guys played for AAU team. I didn't because I was doing alpha, but I know those guys since third grade. So I grew up with them, so I know them all really well. Their chemistry is really good. So
have you always went then to the same school down there in Oregon?
Yeah. I've never transferred or anything. So.
What does that mean to you to be a 12-year senior then? I was a 12-year senior up at my high school, and the only thing that I did noteworthy in high school was I was a 12-year senior, and I graduated with honors in community service. But being a 12-year senior and staying in the community meant so much to me personally. What does that mean to you?
I mean, it means a lot. You know, a lot of people just kind of leave. The season doesn't go the way they want it to be, and I haven't been that kind of person. You know, I'm gonna just sit through it. You know, it's honestly just been better for me. You know, I had really good coaches come in, and they helped me a lot with recruiting and just with football and just life too. So I think overall it's been really good. It's been really good for me. Just not leaving and just going to another school just because just because I felt like it because my season was bad. So.
Yeah, and writing it out when things are the worst, there's no better feeling, at least in my opinion. It's fulfilling. Even though it might suck in the moment, it's very fulfilling. Did you ever get to go to any games down there at Autzen when Wazzu came to town?
I don't think so, actually. I don't think so. I've been to a few. I went to the USC game like last year, Caleb Williams, but I don't think I went to Wazoo. But.
Did your parents ever come up here and make a trip to Martin before to see the Ducks play at all? No, okay.
I don't think so, yeah.
Obviously, not to ask too many questions about Oregon, I'm just genuinely curious because, like I said, that whole area down there as a whole is just incredible. Where are you closer to? And then let's say you're 30 years from now, you're retired, you just came off a Hall of Fame career in the pros. If you had to go back to Oregon, where are you settling down back there in?
Probably Bend.
Oh, okay.
I probably get there, so I really like it there, but like a lot of like the bike paths and stuff and like the walks. I like nature a lot, so that's really good. It's a really cool place down there.
Do you do a lot of biking and stuff then in your free time? And
yeah, I do some mountain biking, and I like to snowboard more, but with basketball it's a little bit hard than football. But it's something I'll probably do after college. But I'm pretty excited for after that.
Yeah, wherever you're going. I have a feeling you're going to have a pro career, but are you going to try, have you been up to the state at all for any snowboarding or anything up here?
I don't think so. No.
If you don't worry about hurting yourself, Eastern Washington, you get into kind of Northeast Washington, that's where I'm at. Do you know where Spokane is?
Yeah.
So I'm out of Spokane, and there's so many mountains, so many trails. Centennial Trail out here in Spokane, as well as the mountains. I mean, if you ever get the opportunity while you're in Pullman to come to Eastern Washington and explore, I highly recommend it. Because if you like that area, granted, Bend in that area, far prettier than anywhere it is up here. I'm just going to say it flat out. But it kind of has that home feeling over here, at least on the eastern side of Washington. Is there a meaning for you when you wear number 8 in football?
Not really. I just kind of really like the number, but I mean, I know that like a lot of like great players wear it, and Kyle Pitts wears it, so I think it's a cool number. I was number 85 last year, and I don't think we have an 87, but that's usually what I want to be, but no 87, so I just chose 8.
Every time I think of 85, I think of the Corvallis kid, Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco.
Yeah.
What are you most excited about to at least take place in when you get up here? Are you excited to kind of build a chemistry with the team, or are you excited just to get to work right off the bat?
I think building a connection with the younger guys and then the older guys is really important to me, because once you know your team, it kind of becomes easier. You start to get to know more people, and then that just kind of makes you want to work a little bit harder, just knowing who you're working for and those kind of guys and how they are. So it's just kind of once I get that connection, I think it'll be a lot easier for me.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I do want to work too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, beside the point, though. I mean, I don't blame you for wanting to build those relationships. I got to meet, obviously, like I was telling you, a ton of guys in your guys' recruiting class. Jovan is one that I've gotten really close to, especially the last few weeks. But I got the opportunity yesterday to meet Noah Westbrook one-on-one. And I don't know if you've really gotten to have many conversations with him. Stand-up individual. I think that this recruiting class is one where all you guys are going to have chemistry for a long time, because there's not been one person out of this class that I haven't enjoyed to have a conversation with. I am super excited for this class, not only that this is the first one that I've really gotten to know, but you guys as a whole all have the same mindset. What do you think that is going to translate here, maybe not next year, maybe not the year after, but the chemistry that you guys all have with the same mindset, what do you think you guys are going to be able to set out and accomplish?
I think we're going to be able to accomplish a lot. I mean, I've talked to a few guys, and they all seem like really dedicated people, and they really want to get to work. And I mean, that's something that I want to be a part of. You know, playing football every day, going to the field, lifting. I mean, that just sounds really fun to me. So I like hearing that all those guys want to do that, and just like the dedication that we all have. You know, it's a commitment. You know, we signed on it, so
That's
I'm really
awesome.
excited. And yeah, so it's really cool.
Um, all right. What do you think you're going to be better at? Going up and catching the football, or do you think you're going to be better blocking? Kind of a weird question to ask, but I'm curious.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Like the thing is, I love both. So whatever. I don't know. I really like catching though. Like catching is fun, but you know, putting your face into someone else and pancaking them is also pretty fun too.
Yeah, pretty good feeling.
Yeah.
If you were to if you were to move over, let's say on an offensive side of the ball, what position, if you couldn't play tight end on offense, would you like to play?
Probably just like a slot receiver, like a wideout, one of those two. But I think that the tight end is probably like one of the best and fun positions that you could do because you can kind of just do everything. You know, you can block, you can be with the lineman, but then you can also go for a 10 out of a corner.
Yeah.
No one can guard you. You know,
Yeah.
with the backers or the corners, it's too small. So that's pretty cool.
Did you get the opportunity to sit and watch the Holiday Bowl at all?
Yeah, I watched that.
What was your main takeaways? Granted, at that point, I want to remember. I want to say there was like 27 to 30 guys in the portal at that point at the Holiday Bowl. Obviously, we had several guys come back and at least play before they transferred out, like Stephen Hall. David Gusta made the attempt, just didn't work out with his ankle injury. And then I want to say like Bryson Lamb, I don't know if he's still staying, but guys like that, to see them still come in and finish their season. What did you think about that Cougs team, and what gets you excited about that team that fought from the Holiday Bowl, and the guys that you're going to be able to play with that do stay?
Yeah, I mean, I saw it from like the get go. I mean, they never gave up. I mean, they gave it all. I mean, they didn't have many people. They were like the underdogs the whole game, but they never gave up. I mean, they kept fighting. They kept trying to score. They got defensive stops. I mean, it was just like, I mean, the score. I mean, the score doesn't like show how hard those guys really fought. You know, the other team had, you know, like they had like a full team and like the quarterback, but I don't think that really shows how hard our team can really play. You know, because a lot of teams don't have that heart. But I think that's what's really special about the Cougars is that we have a lot of heart.
Yeah, a lot of grit that we saw in that game. I mean, obviously the highlight of that game that stands out to me, Leon Neal crashing in and blocking that punt, and Josh Meredith taking it to the house. Um,
Yeah.
Guys like that are going to stay. Obviously, Zevy's going to stay for his, I guess, another season. I don't really know what we call it at this point. I want to say he's going to be a grad senior or something in that aspect. Have you gotten to have very many conversations with Zevy, if at all? And then what gets you excited about at least seeing him presumably take over the offense this year?
Yeah, no, I haven't had many talks with him, but I think he's gonna be really good, and I think he's gonna lead us really well this year or next year, my bad, next year. But I'm excited.
Um, Obviously, we've already kind of touched on it a little bit, but losing Coach Dickert to Wake Forest, he took several members of his staff with. We had 3 recruits flip out of their financial aid, and then one more that decided to test the waters out of your guys' recruiting class. What is the main draw to Coach Dickert, and what is it that really brought you in under his wing to at least come up to Pullman? What do people like about Coach Dickert?
He's got a lot of fire with him. I remember that morning when I signed, he was like he's like screaming, getting the scaffold out, and he got in my face and put it on the wall. So I mean, he's got a lot of heart, a lot of fire with him. So I think that was something that really like drawn me in. You know, like some coaches are kind of just like, all right, you're up. He was up there. He was getting loud. He was ready to go. So I thought that was something that was really cool that he brought.
You got to come up and visit on your recruiting trip in a blowout win for Wazzu. Obviously, the Cougs beat the Rainbow Warriors 42-10, I think, if I'm remembering the final score correctly. What was that visit like for you? And then who came up with you that you got to meet and spend time with out of your recruiting class?
Yeah, that was a really fun game. Yeah, I was with my parents, and we saw Dick right there, and we saw Coach Witt, and we talked to him a little bit, and then I just got to see on the sidelines what he did, get his guys ready. I was with the tight end group, and I saw some drills that they were doing, so I thought that was kind of cool. But I think overall, the stadium's just really cool. Every time you get a first down, that's something special,
Oh, hearing that Cougar growl, man. Oh. You can't help but get excited, even as a fan perspective. I went up and watched the Utah State game this year, and Grant really cold up there that game. It was about half, I'd say, at least for Phil. But the amount of people that were up there still, I couldn't tell you one person around me that wasn't into that game the entire time. That atmosphere is just electric. And I had a lot of fun at Autzen. Loved singing, Coming Home to Oregon or whatever that song is and getting all hyped in that stadium. Completely different feeling in the stands from Martin. And I'm so excited for you to be able to suit up, come out for the first time, and have super fans like me just absolutely going ballistic when all you guys come out.
Yeah, for sure. I'm stoked, man. I just can't wait to be in that uniform and ready to go fight with my brothers. It's something really cool. So.
Are you finishing up your high school year before you come up here?
Yeah.
When's your move in then?
I think a week after I graduate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What are you gonna study when you get up here?
I think either business or economics. I'm still kind of deciding on which one I want to do. But,
do you have a preference one way or another, or it's one of those where you just gotta have a plan?
Yeah, kind of that.
What? This is the last question I've got about Westview, and then I think that's all I got for you, my friend. But what is the continuity like with the basketball team that you guys had this year compared to the football team?
I just comparing basketball and football.
Continuity means how well you guys gel compared to how well as a team you guys gel in basketball compared to football or vice versa.
Okay. Yeah. It's definitely different with football. Waking up in the summer and doing doubles. A lot of those guys, some of them don't really want to do it. Basketball, I feel like it's a lot different because we have a smaller group of guys. So it's definitely you got to be there. Everyone's got to support each other. If you're having a bad shooting day. In football, you're gonna get smack talked. It's just football. You're gonna get smack talked and you gotta put them on the butt. It's just kind of how it happens. But it's definitely a different sport. But it's just the different people and how they can react to adversity and some people don't react with adversity. I try to. If they're talking smack, then I'm gonna hit them.
You're ready to go. Yeah, you're gonna take adversity on the chin, and you're gonna show them what you're all about. Thank you so much for sitting down and having this conversation with me today. I'm very excited to see what you're going to be able to do when you come up here and you're wearing the crimson and gray. Seeing you, having a conversation with you, I'm very impressed at how professional you are and really how well your head is put on your shoulders. I want you to know that I'm very excited for you. I can't wait for this opportunity for you. Thank you again for all the time that you've given me today. Everyone that does pay attention and watch this video, I want you guys to go and give him a follow on his Instagram. I'm going to tag it on this page. And And this is another episode of Catching Cougs. So thank you very much for your time, man, and we will be talking to you here soon.